KCC311, weeks 5 and 6. We've been talking about maps that you'll be doing for the assignment. And the last thing is using SUMIF, using a spreadsheet to get data on the maps. So last video I was talking about the Google My Maps. I started the creation. Here you see my finished product. I got each of the regions has its nice colors, and there's one of the icons. I alluded to this earlier that you're going to have these icons, but I put the ... because, well, I need some data. That's this third video, how to use SUMIF to get some data about these mountain states. In particular, the data I'm looking for is the U.S. population data. So this is available for you to download in course documents, and you could also do a quick Google search and find the population of the U.S. But how can we get this data and figure out what numbers go in this region? Here we go. First thing we need to do, we need to format this data. Click here. I'm going to insert a column right here next to my states. Stop me if you heard this before. Each state, we need to tell the spreadsheet what region it is. So Alabama, that's a southern state. Alaska, I think I used west. Arizona, I can't remember. I think I did that was a mountain state. Arkansas, did I call that south? California is west. So yeah, you got to redo what you did earlier on the Google My Map. But you know what? It's not a... I'm going to hope that by this point it's not a terrible task for you, that you're fairly familiar with this process. So I'm going to go through here and just put a couple more in there. And Hawaii, that will be in the west. Idaho, last one, is a mountain state. But you get the idea. You're going to put all the states and all the labels, which is very similar to what you did here. Second step, I need to collect this data into a table to get like the population of each region. Oh, by the way, ignore the fact that they actually calculated here. That's the U.S. Census's regions. You created your own regions, so let's figure out how to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize my regions. And I'm going to put a population here, because those are the two things that I'm studying right here. So region, what were my regions? I had a western region, I had a mountain region, I had New England was one of my regions, I had the south region, the Atlantic region, I believe I had the Midwest. Okay, so this is the step one in terms of getting population for your Google My Map. You got to label the data, label the states, and you have this little grid which sort of organizes what I'm measuring. Now, how can I get some numbers in here? How can I say for all the western states, what's the population? Time for a formula. Equals. That's how they always start on spreadsheets. Start with the equals. Now, SUMIF. And you'll click it right here. By the way, Microsoft Excel, I'm using Google Sheets. Microsoft Excel, the formula will be exactly the same. SUMIF. First thing. You need to tell SUMIF, where are my labels? Why? They're right here. So click the B. Those are my labels. Comma. What's next? Tell it the label that I'm looking for right now. I'm looking at the western region. Comma. Last thing. There's three things we got to type in. The first is the labels. The second is the specific label. And the last thing is, what am I measuring? Population. So, and actually there's two population numbers. Let's go with the 2017, the more recent. So click 2017, or the D up top to represent all those numbers. I close the parentheses, hit enter, and hey, it adds it up right there. It says there's 41 million people in the western states. And actually, it's only the western states that I have labeled right now. If you go down here, there might be some others. But it said what Google Sheets did is it added this state, Alaska, added this state, California, and this state, Hawaii. If we went down, yeah, it would add up some of the other ones, but you see the idea. To reinforce, equals SUMIF, there it is right down here. First click is the labels, column B, comma, the specific label, in this case I'm looking at the mountain states, comma, and then the population, so click the top. Don't click the numbers down here, click all the way up top, parentheses, and it says, hey, in the mountain states, you have 14,340,367 people. Hey, guess what? How come I like that number? Because then I come back here. I can click my icon. Ooh, there it is, yes. I can hit this little pencil. I can edit it. And I say, hey, the mountain states are, no, how about this? Have 14,300,000, there we go, people. How about this? Have approximately. Yeah, I'm being a little, I'm cutting a couple corners here, but you understand where I'm coming from. And that would be your Google My Map. Your Google My Map will be this interactive. It'll have these colors so I can see the regions, and then I can click on an icon and you'll tell me some information. And here's the last thing, just sort of a fun thing, because let's face it, I'm going to see a lot of these maps and my eyes might sort of glaze over. Oh, they're going to look similar, but You can add some style to it. Look at this little picture. I click the picture here. Hey, look at that. I can search Rocky Mountains. I could search Colorado, something like that. I hit the search button, and it has all these pictures. I say, hey, that's a nice picture for my mountain states. And then look at this. I've got the mountain states, a nice little picture, and I've got some numbers here. You could do something similar. You know, get a picture of the beach in California, Statue of Liberty out here, Chicago down. You get the idea that when I click the icon, now I have a little more style, if you will. But that is the main idea, that you need to take the spreadsheet. You need to add some labels. You need to create this little grid here, and you need to use the SUMIF formula. Equals SUMIF. You need to tell me the labels, comma. You need to tell me the specific label, and you need to tell me the population that you're adding together, and you'll get some numbers here and put those in your Google My Map. And the last thing, since I'm going to ask for 2 maps in the spreadsheet, or I'm sorry, in the submission, I'm going to ask for a Google My Map, and I'm going to ask for a graphic like this. How can I create the numbers in this graphic? Because I can't click on anything here. Well, one thing you can do is you can highlight all this. We've seen this before. Go up to Insert, Chart. It's taking a second here. There we go. And you see these are blank. I haven't put them in yet, but you could get a region like this, and then this map we can save to my computer and put in a graphic. So think about those ways to approach this this week's assignment. You have the Google My Map, the KML file. I talked about that before. You have the icons down here. You have the spreadsheet. You have the SUMIF. And then you're going to try and use these numbers to create a graph or to label these icons. It's a lot of stuff, but we got 2 weeks. We have until the February 18th. So start in. Try and tackle these things, and when you find some questions, please reach out via email, and I can create subsequent videos trying to isolate some of the issues we might be having.